Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Pemko number 182A. This is a mill finish aluminum offset saddle type threshold. And the 182 is representative of this profile. Okay. The 182 from Pemko is going to be available in different finishes. Let's take a look at that now. First of all, saddle, if you used your imagination, it somewhat looks like a saddle. But it's offset because this will help you navigate two different floor surfaces. There's an image below this video showing the important dimensional properties of this item. This 182 is not very common, but common enough to where, well, common enough to know that we sell it, common enough to know that Pemko manufactures it, but common enough to realize that there is a half-inch offset that is fairly typical when dealing with different flooring surfaces because half-inch is common for a lot of different ways that you might do something. 7-inch is commiserate because it works very well with most jamb depths, especially when you want to modify the threshold to account for something. Let's get the dimensions first. First of all, 7-inch is the width. It's going to be 1-inch overall height over here. Okay. It's going to be half-inch over here. The width of the crown area is about 4 3/4 inch. Okay. Now, this is something that you're going to see in, well, you have to be careful because that 1-inch on the outside would not be handicap compliant. Where I see this often is in applications where there is a concrete pour. There's something that's happened on the inside of the opening that isn't on the outside of the opening after the floor was poured, and they need to be able to make that navigation work after modifying the door as well. Exterior hollow metal opening, back of a building sort of thing that does not require handicap compliance. You would see this very often. Back to the finishes. This is available in the A finish, which is the mill aluminum. It's available in the D finish, which is dark bronze anodized, and the G finish, which is gold anodized as well. Okay. Now, I had mentioned earlier you might need to do a, people like the 7-inch because you might want to do or need to do some sort of a modification, an L notch. Sometimes what people will do is a 3-foot door. 40 inches the outside of a hollow metal frame typically. They might order this 40 or 42 inch, and then they will literally notch or cope the profile of the frame into the threshold so that they can run this outside angle long and against the perpendicular wall so that you have coverage at the bottom of the jamb. Some people like to do that. They want to protect the bottom of the jamb because that's where surface rust will initially begin to show itself on a hollow metal door and frame. Okay. Now, this is going to be available in all of the common lengths, certainly. From 2 foot out to about 8 foot, you'll be able to order that from us. If you have need for a custom length, by all means, let us know by ordering the next longest piece or pieces and simply indicate in the comment field what length you want us to cut the material back to. The reasoning is you have a countersink that's about 6 inches from the end. The next one's in the center of the threshold. If you had to take this 3-foot piece and cut it down to, say, well, 30 inch, let's say, you would encounter needing to not only trim it, which might be somewhat of a challenge based on the width of the threshold, but you're going to be stuck drilling and countersinking a new hole. And I've seen countless threshold installations that frankly have failed because all that the installer did was drill a hole and let a flathead kind of type screw sit into just a round hole, not taking advantage of dimpling or countersinking the threshold so the underside of the flathead can seat into it properly. With thresholds, there's a lot of lateral force back and forth constantly. There's a lot of force this way. You're moving the screw this way, you're moving it this way, and if it's not properly installed, it's just a period of time before it will come loose. I like to have the factory cut it to length. I get a better, cleaner edge. The only disadvantage of that is the factory has a plus or minus tolerance that is built into what they do. But generally, everyone is quite excellent. Pemko is quite excellent about shipping it at that length. In terms of anchors, screws are included. Okay. Just like a number 12 by 1.5" flathead. Well, that's probably closer to 2" Yeah, maybe 1.5" flathead screw. I like to have, quite frankly, I would abandon those screws. I would use machine screws, like a 1032 machine screw. I would use a lead expansion anchor if I could. Drill that, seat the lead anchor down, and then run machine screws into it after I have run a bead of caulk down where the threshold is going to sit. I want to mitigate any possibility of something getting in there. I've also ordered replacement strips of neoprene that you can order from Pemko from their sweeps. The insert only, run that down, let this sit on top of that neoprene, tighten it down, something quite thin. You don't want to affect the overall height of the threshold very much, but some way to mitigate water from coming in underneath. Caulk is what's typical. If something's used at all, and it's usually not, caulk is very typical and common. So if you ordered a custom length, we're not only going to cut it to length, but we're going to give you that first countersink at the proper distance from the edge. And of course the proper center to center. Now the name Pemko is synonymous with all things weather stripping related, not only fairly uncommon offset saddle type thresholds, but perimeter gasketing, door sweeps, material made of aluminum like the 182A, material made of architectural bronze and stainless steel. Also, you'll be able to, from Pemko, tap into their comprehensive offering of aluminum continuous geared hinges, along with steel vision frames that are used in both wood and metal doors. If you have any questions on the Pemko 182A offset saddle threshold or any other Pemko product, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.